Has it?
Yeah. Alright, don't shove the whole chaise over.
It might have collapsed again.
Are you quite ready? Why don't you just let me know?
I guess that's what I have to do.
Welcome back to I Know What You Watched Last Week, our horror movie review channel, or podcast, depending on if you like to just sit down and see us do our thing. Johnny hates it already. You're such a dickhead. You're such a dick.
Sit down, do our thing.
Fine, I'll keep it really short.
Do what you want.
Welcome to another episode of I Know What You Watched Last Week.
I wasn't ready.
Are you ready now? My God, how long does it take to get ready to not talk?
You know, I bat you the ball.
Can I go now?
It's just like a double fault.
Am I? Yeah?
Hang on. Mm-hmm.
Welcome back to I Know What You Watched Last Week, where we have 3 new horror movies to discuss. And when I say new, I actually kind of do mean new, right? We've got another newish batch.
Do you not know what episode this is?
Oh, 66. So another 600 and we're at the perfect number.
I hope you're right.
So, newish films or not?
Yeah, they're all new. All new, especially for this show.
Yeah,
None of them, I think,
the retro ones, don't
from
we?
this year, but last year and possibly the year before.
And since I introduced the show, why don't you introduce which 3 movies we watched in order?
First of all, we watched The Exorcism, the Russel Crowe exorcist vehicle.
Wait, which Russel Crowe exorcist? Yeah.
Find out. Just told you. Second, we watched The Nun 2. The Nun from the Conjuring universe.
It's a universe.
And finally, we watched In a Violent Nature.
Yes, we did. We did watch that, didn't we?
Finally, after all the hype it had and stuff like that, a lot of press.
Would you care to also rank these in your order of
I'm going.
least favourite?
I would.
Well, please, sir,
Right.
do proceed.
Do you think we're going to have the same before I proceed?
I would hope so, because I thought it was relatively clear.
Right. Bottom for me, The Nun 2. Second place, In a Violent Nature. And in first place, Exorcism. So you got the same, right?
No, I am once again, another week following, stunned at your choices. What are you thinking?
You'll find out.
To me, it seems so very clear that bottom place belongs to In a Violent Nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost difficult to even just mention the title at this point for me. Second place,
So you're
granted,
having
it wasn't
a hard time with it.
It wasn't great. Was The Nun 2, and yeah, okay. At least we both agree on
Number
first place.
1.
Russell Crowe. Yeah,
He is just...
as an
This is what he's known for now.
actor
This
exorcist.
is what he does. So let's go in the order of you. Yeah.
Yeah, since we're flipping roles this week, really we should swap our spots in the chair as well.
No, this is the better spot. I've got a back to this.
Yeah, selfish.
Still hard to sit on.
Okay, so that means we're starting with In a Violent Nature.
Yes.
Which is the one of these that, for me at least, definitely seemed to be getting the most hype and talk and love and praise and all of that. So
Yeah, that got... In a Violent Nature got love and praise, as you said, and Exorcism was filmed, I think, in 2019, just left on the shelf for 5 years. In the meantime,
Yeah.
I guess Russell Crowe thought, I better take another Exorcism movie, because that one...
because I really loved it and I didn't make it. And now look at him. He's got at least 2. And we have a ghost
on
in the
set.
house. Yeah.
We had a ghost in the kitchen yesterday.
Yeah, messing with the playlist on
Messing with the playlist
music.
and putting on a song which referenced my name.
Yeah, that was really weird.
You were freaked out.
Yeah, at first I was like, no, it's someone else controlling our... But then no.
Yeah, because there's no way
Why?
your mum and dad would be listening to 80s hair metal.
So, In a Violent Nature, was there something in particular you wanted to start with this? Because for me,
I have quite minimal notes
There's
on
enough
this.
to say with the very intro.
What is there to say? My intro is this. I'll just go through it and you pick out what you want. Necklace in the opening. Jason type. Carcass in a bear trap. Beeping car. Begin walking forever in the daytime. Crunching leaf sound. People arguing in the distance. Fake Jason walks into house. Looks at a photo and he hears, "We'll always be our little boy, John." Then more walking. Then he traps guy. Then more long walking. That's kind of the opening.
I think that's kind of the whole movie.
I've got a little bit more than that, but we're not far off what happens in the film.
I think that would be a good vibey sum up to the whole thing.
Were you expecting something more? Were you expecting to enjoy it, or did you already think, yeah, it's been overhyped?
Well,
from what I've already seen trailer-wise.
The really famous scene that kept being played, whether you'd seen the film or not, was the yoga death.
Mm-hmm. The girl in front of the cliff.
I could appreciate that, okay, this particular thing I probably haven't seen before, but there are so many issues with that, it doesn't make up for it for me. But I wanted to go into, which you mentioned in your mini
pick any of that
thing, is right from the beginning of this film, we get a theme that continues for the rest of it, which is, let's just plonk this camera here to kind of make it, I don't know, are they trying to go a bit Blair Witchy almost or something? Just some random camera somewhere where we can't actually see anything that's going on. It's not breathtakingly beautiful. It's just nothing.
The daytime woods.
And it stays there for ages. And when I said that what you summed up could just be a sum up of the movie, I felt like 80% of this film was just watching fake Jason get his steps in.
This could have probably been a 20-minute episode or something. When this first came out, the online consensus was, I've never seen this before. It's a movie from the killer's point of view. It's like, what are you talking about? There are several movies from the killer's point of view. Maniac, for one.
But this also...
And it wasn't... This film wasn't from the killer's point of view whatsoever, so they've just got like the terminology wrong, it seems, because it's more like a computer game when you're controlling.
I think what they maybe meant was that it's following his story rather
than... That is clearly what they meant, yeah, but that doesn't mean point of view. Yeah,
completely wrong. And also, I wouldn't even say that would be accurate either, to say it follows his story, because yes, even though we're following him around, like I said, just plonking through the woods... we get tiny little like snippets of his past or the story, the reason why he's doing this, but it's so cliche.
Backstory in very loose terms.
Yeah, it's so cliche and not, detailed enough for it to be even that.
We're expecting it to be detailed?
I don't know what I was expecting, but people really loved this. I was hoping for something.
You like a walk in the woods.
I do like a walk in the woods.
This might have been up your street.
And another thing that they did that really confused me was, so the first like 2 shots where you mentioned there's a necklace hanging, and the scene kind of ends when we see someone take the necklace away from this post or whatever.
And you know what's going on right away.
Of course. And then we see fake Jason being born out of the leafy ground. And already I was like, this looks crap. It looks like they've got a thin layer of material and they've covered it in some dirt and leaf, and now they're like, yeah, break through this. It doesn't look like someone's really... Well, no one could really crawl out of the earth. There'd be way too much weight.
I heard somewhere along the way that they had apparently filmed, let's say, 75 to 80% of the movie, and then their actor who played the killer injured himself or something along those lines, and they had to basically start again, recast the guy, because the director was saying, you can't just get a guy who's not a stuntman essentially or whatever to play a killer, because it has to have charisma or something like that, even though this is just, like I say, a pound shop Jason Voorhees. So that might be some of the reason why some of it looked rushed, is that you have to reshoot it again and call in favours essentially in your hometown by the sounds of it.
Well, the amount of time they spent just following him through the woods doing nothing, they could have saved a lot of time and energy not putting that in, not filming that.
Yeah, but then you haven't got a movie, because you don't have all that footage. Like I said, the film lasts about 20 minutes.
Good, that's what it would have been worth for me. There are about 20 minutes of this that I found somewhat intriguing, and that was it.
I didn't find any of it intriguing, so I'm surprised you even said that.
So, what I was going to say, once he's been born and his necklace is gone, we then begin
Reborn.
80% of just following
Reanimated.
him walking along. And I swear it does that. It uses that technique where it quite quickly goes from light to dark to light to dark, as if to show that he's just continuously, through day and night for multiple nights, walking along, right?
Unless we walk around in circles.
Well, this is the thing. I'm like, how far is this guy going? Because the group that he's after haven't exactly wandered far.
Like I said, you got to feel the time. So if the people if the fodder are further away for the killer, the more time we can film him walking around and crunching leaves.
And don't get me wrong, the Canadian environment they filmed in, it is beautiful, but it's beautiful for like, okay, 5, maybe even 10 minutes, and then I'm like, okay, I've seen it now.
Once I ran through the kind of the intro where he traps a guy in like a bear trap or something and kills him, we're then introduced to a campfire lot. A campfire lot who are clearly going to be fodder. And now it's got walking again. He finds a mask now, which is like a deep sea diving helmet or something.
No, it's
What
an
is
old
it?
firefighter's mask.
That's an old firefighter's mask, right? Yeah, I knew it wasn't a deep sea diver, but that's the thing that I brought it closest to. So that's what it is.
Well, again, it just seems really random. Exactly like how Jason finds his. It's like, oh, look, that'll do. And he
Was
takes
it as iconic as when Jason found the hockey mask? Will this now go into, marketing territory and everyone wants this doll?
If the movie had been good, then I didn't dislike the mask choice. That wasn't the issue for me.
This was quite critically praised as well. Somehow it's just like pick and choose.
Yeah, I
this is
don't
another
understand
movie
that,
by
but-
a guy who's a special effects artist first, and now making a movie.
Because
and doing
that
all
was the
effects
highlight
himself.
of the film, was when they decided to actually put in the special effects, which a lot of the time you didn't actually really see much of the offings. Like the yoga one really is the most explicitly filmed.
That's the entire reason that I put this film at number 2, was just that kill, the yoga kill. That's what it's called. I called it going on the cliff, and I found it quite satisfying to be on like someone's head pulled through their stomach, which is good to watch, and it was just enough. That was enough to put it number 2. Let's say that much.
I find it far more interesting and far more like effective when the kills, especially gory ones like that, feel ultra real, whereas this felt very much like a film death. Like, I doubt that, you get those SFX artists who've been in battle and stuff and seen real gore and gruesome stuff, and I don't feel like they would have done it the same way.
Been
Like,
very
for one,
harsh,
you've
very
got
critical.
the hook thing is like this wide, and yet the hole that it makes being shoved through her is about this big.
Well, I liked
But,
it.
well, I liked it.
Yeah, I did like that. I enjoyed it a lot, that kill.
The actual effects, like when it gets pulled through and you see all the sort of like gore and guts coming out around her skull, that's very nice.
Once it is pulled through her stomach, he goes walking around again even more. Like you've already mentioned, he's got to get his steps in. This is a charity hike. I'm not sure. And I've written now it's taking the piss, because I don't know how long we're into the movie, maybe like half an hour, 35 minutes, I'm not sure. But it's already way too much walking. Like just way too much.
Well, actually, I think the yoga kill is quite far on in the film as
He
well.
then gets shot, but it's no problem. No problem whatsoever. He's impervious to bullet wounds by one of the campfire lot, because now they started, splitting up and realising that, something wrong here, we're going to be stalked to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, walking about, and then there's another point he's walking about. Before this, though, he gets a giant stone and pummels someone's head in.
Yeah.
That's pretty good as well.
So it seems to be that he is searching for the stolen necklace.
Yeah, because when he's walking about again, once he comes close to a property, he hears the characters in there talking about, oh my god, you move his necklace, don't you know what's going to happen to us now? They kind of like put the law to him, and there's a story of one survivor after he killed a bunch of people. So that's the backstory, essentially. And then we quickly move on to the shed scene with the rattling machine, which went on forever
the
again,
logging
much
machine.
like the walking.
Everything was so drawn out. It really made me feel like they'd taken, Friday the 13th franchise and then watched Skinamarink and been like, oh, I've got a great idea. That's what it felt like to me.
That's what the people want.
That's what the people want. They want Friday the 13th Skinamarink style.
Would you say this is a movie
The idea
for
was
people,
great.
Would you say this is a movie for people who like slashers? Because I like slashers, but I know that there hasn't been a really good slasher in a very long time.
I think this would have been, as I said, perfectly acceptable as a 20-minute thing. So just basically skip all the walking in between, show the kills, which were
They may have a little bit of walking.
a bit of mixture between just blah and very creative.
Yeah,
That would have been it. Because, as I said, the story, how is this story in any way different? It's
not.
like a parody almost, this film. It's like a parody of horror, but it's not trying to be.
Yeah, it's something I wanted to like. I thought I was going to see a little bit more in terms of just because it's got nothing going for it. It's just another movie with a killer walking around in the woods, right, in the daytime. No good. So there was that kill, the yo kill, but apart from that, I thought there'd be more along those lines of like kind of inventiveness, where instead there's another part. I mean, we haven't even gone through the machine kill yet. What does it do? Chops his head off in the end, doesn't it? Something like that. And it goes on forever. And there's another kill where he kind of like axes someone's face in the woods, and then he just keeps axing the mush off the guy's face, and it just goes on forever. And again, I was thinking, is that really all we've got here?
Yeah, not anything new. Yoga kill, I'll give it that. Not seen that before.
The unconscious man. I'm almost
did you not
unconscious.
also find, so with that logging device that you're talking about, the rattly machine one, before our killer gets the guy into that position, he's already injured him in a way that clearly he's clearly paralyzed, because he doesn't move, just his eyes are going like that, but he also doesn't make any sound. Now, I think that was a big shame. I don't know if they were going for the whole thing of, it'll be creepier and more like gruesome if he can't even make a noise, but I feel like the screams and the agony was missing. I just felt like it was way too stoic. It just took away from it for me.
Did you also notice that there was no soundtrack to this movie? There's no music. It's just the guy crunching around. That's why the crunching leaves are burnt into my head. That sound of crunching leaves. After the axe to the head just keeps going with the head mush. There's now a girl, like I guess we call her the final girl. Everyone else has been
she is
picked
the
off.
only one left, isn't she?
And she's running through the woods, and she's picked up by a woman in a car,
a
truck, whatever. And this lady, while she starts driving her, starts talking about a tracking story, tracking a bear in the woods, and it's just mind numbing. It's mind numbing. This scene seems to go on like the others forever of her just telling this dull story, and she ends up stopping because our final girl is kind of she seems like in trouble again. She's bleeding out. So we stop the car. Final girl doesn't want the car to stop because she knows that Pound Shop Jason is in the woods. And then the camera just kind of like goes into the woods, and we see the necklace back on it's like a gas canister or something like that.
Not quite. We see her when that face smash thing over and over that you mentioned happens. The girl, who's the final one, she takes the necklace off, puts it on the gas canister she was carrying, and runs away. So after she's stopped the car, and obviously she's looking into the forest, having her leg wrapped up or tourniquet or whatever, and she's looking into the forest expecting Fire Mask Guy to come at her. But then we get, as you said, the shot back on the gas canister, and the necklace is gone. So I was thinking, and then the film ends, so I was like, okay, so are they actually saying that he recovered the necklace, that's all he ever wanted, and he's just buried himself back in the earth, and it's kind of a happy ending? Because there's nothing to suggest otherwise. That's what that
happy
suggests,
ending.
Right?
This is a happy ending.
Yeah. It's as happy an ending as you're going to get at this point.
Also, I'm glad that they decided to film the gas canister for about 5 minutes.
Of course,
That
you
was
have
good.
to fit in with all the rest of this film. And what was the other thing that bugged me? Oh yeah, if that's what happened, then why did we previously see a scene where the local sheriff or forest warden, I think he was, he's the one who's like, oh my god, the necklace, where did you get it? No, you know, it's the only thing keeping him in the ground, and no, you can't just give it back. That's not how this works. I was like, one, how do you know how this works? Because I'm pretty sure you're saying this is the first time since, you first put him in the ground. And second of all, clearly it does work.
So you're not buying the law.
There is no law.
No.
It's just this. I hated this movie.
Yeah, I wanted to like it. I knew I wouldn't.
Wanted to.
And I was proved correct.
And yet you still put it second.
There isn't much more to say to it, yeah, simply because of the kill. So imagine just how bad I think The Nun 2 is. Yeah, before we move on from In a Violent Nature, this made about $4.5 million at the box office. So I think it would cost way less than that. So they've clearly made a lot of money. And it will probably come back into a sequel, I would imagine. But much like Terrifier 2, which was a huge disappointment because there was no backstory of the character. If you're going to carry this on, spend some more time on the writing or something. So they clearly done well with the press and kind of buzzwords like point of view killer. And,
lies.
Yeah, can't dupe me. Just knew it wasn't going to be this, because how can it be? Bottom for you. Second for me.
No sequel, please.
So, well, is that just because if they do release one, for a fact we're going to have to watch it at some point?
No, I refuse. This was so mind-numbingly boring. I feel like it stole time of my life. I can never get back. So.
Yeah, this was bad. I don't know why I keep trying to defend
it. Yeah. Moving on to one which you apparently thought
I'm
was...
not as much as a hater as you are.
Was even worse.
Yeah, The Nun 2 was worst film of the week for me, hands down. What is this from? The Conjuring universe.
It's a whole universe, guys. Conjuring.
This is our horror Marvel, our Marvel horror. And it's a universe built more on box office returns than any actual decent movies. I mean, the original ones were good, Conjuring 2. There's one decent Annabelle movie, Creation, I believe. And away from that, it's not great. Unless is Insidious considered in the Conjuring universe? I don't know, because a couple of those are pretty good. But yeah, there's so many movies right now in this universe that side characters now getting their own sequels, which is what we've got here. And now we've got, obviously, the Crooked Man is coming as well, which is going to be part of the Conjuring universe. I'm sure they can mine some other things as well, which haven't been in it previously. So France 1956 is some historical stuff right here. And there's a cheeky little boy running around in, a monastery?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a priest, and he's like, go get the wine. And the little kid's like, you go get the wine. He's a cheeky little sod. Right?
Little French sod.
Yeah. And straight away, when the little French sod runs away down the stairs, he's in this like quite spectacular building made of stone or something like this. And I've written straight away, standard Hollywood horror lighting. It's stock, it's template. It's not terrible or anything, but it is the standard go-to Hollywood. We've got quite a budget behind us. This is how a horror movie looks. It's straight away, I was like, this is bland.
Well, would you not find that kind of applies to the entire film? Just like in A Violent Nature, but with different examples, this one, again, didn't bring anything new. It just picked up on bits from other films.
So this little kid, when he goes downstairs, he finds a football. He's in like a pantry, so he kicks a football into the darkness. And of course, we're expecting it to come back, but it doesn't. There's a smashed glass sound instead, and this is at 4 minutes 15.
No, it did come back.
And Corin jump scare. She's got.
It did come back, so he kicked it straight away. It rolled back in when he was getting the wine or putting it back, and then he kicks it into the darkness again, and then he's like, oh, it's not coming back this time. But then, yeah, the wine, the blood of Christ wine, the vase
which will come in handy later.
And yeah.
Yeah, and so after your jump scare, the kid runs back to the priest, who then tries to talk to this entity which is lurking in the darkness. And wouldn't you know it, the nun appears. This entity is the nun, and the nun levitates the priest and then sets him on CGI fire while he floats, almost like in a cross symbol, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was.
And once again, this is ultimate proof that CGI is just never going to do it for me. Just never going to do it for me, especially when it's just CGI. Absolutely horrible. And again, standard stock template Hollywood horror scene. Very try-hard as well. Or let's have him levitate and then burst into flames. It's not scary, it's not effective. It's not anything, is it?
Overriding memory of this film is just seeing lots of little moments of seeing the nun in that typical, like, either jump scare or just a short moment of scare tactic.
Yeah.
And it was like right from the start. I mean, clearly right there. We get it straight away, and it just continues, and it doesn't really build up either. It just... If
you come across the nun in the movie, she will either jump out at you or just open her mouth a bit at you. That's what she does. So be prepared for that. She might grab at you a little bit as well. Especially if you're a main character. If you're a main character, you just get open-mouthed, jumped out at and grabbed a little bit. Everyone else, though, is easy to kill off, obviously. Now, next thing I remember is some nuns, young nuns to be on like a broken down back of a truck. And they manage to bring it back to life, and they drive to a monastery. Anyway, there's his sister there, older sister, older nun. She's like talking about someone called Sister Deborah, who's apparently trouble. And the lady is talking about Sister Deborah in trouble's got quite a funny voice. I remembered. She's a trouble. She's a trouble, Sister Deborah.
Oh, she's got an Italian accent, that's why.
Is that what that was supposed to be?
Yeah.
An Italian accent? Now, one of that person was accent. So anyway, Sister Deborah then introduces Sister Deborah. And she's with, I believe, Sister Irene, who's our main character. And Sister Deborah is smoking. She's smoking, so we know
As
he's
in
trouble.
a cigarette, not smoking hot.
Yeah, smoking a cigarette.
Well, did you not find this strange
she's
already?
bad news.
I'm sorry, this is such a small aspect, but it was on my mind a lot. So when the Italian lady greets Sister Irene and says, "Oh, there's trouble," and Irene is like, "Oh, it's who was the other sister? The smoking sister?"
Deborah.
It's Deborah, isn't it? As if this is some sort of long-standing, long-running issue. So I was picturing Sister Deborah to be some like old woman who's been there for ages, and Irene's the only one who like has the good relationship with her and can get through to her. But what we get instead is young Sister Deborah, and it seems like this is the first time they're ever meeting. So I was like, why is this Italian lady thinking that Irene's going to suddenly get through to her? Of course she does. But did you not find that strange?
It's a strange first meeting for me, seeing as Sister Deborah ends it to Irene by saying, you know, white folks burned down my house. So that's important to know.
Yes.
So that's Sister Deborah. Next thing I remember is nuns telling tales of demons, almost like a nun campfire inside the building. And outside we've got Maurice working the garden, because this is France, like I said.
Oh yeah, when he first appeared, I was like, oh, finally we got some eye candy for the ladies, do we? Like for the nuns, thinking it was not going to be, that it was just going to be some old gardener. Then it like kind of slowly goes up his thighs and his buttocks and his breeches and stuff, and I was like, oh, it actually is something for the nuns to drool over.
That's blasphemous.
Fair enough. But no, he's working at a place that, in the flashback, no, actually, it's not even that. I don't know. I found the locations in this really confusing. Did you as well? Because we do have the school.
Maybe slightly.
Where Maurice works as a school. It's not a nunnery or a...
So that wasn't the same place as where the nuns go to at the beginning on a broken down truck?
No.
Because now you've reminded me of that. Because when it does come back to that kind of like arched bit, like where there's the outside here and then there's an archway building. And, you know, all these actions happening there. And we see Maurice in there. And we see the older nun in there. I was thinking to myself, is this the same place? Because obviously now they are teaching children about stuff, but I just thought it was the same place. I thought the other nuns were there as well.
It's all very confusing, especially because I was never sure where we were.
I was confused.
I wasn't sure where we were, even country, because, yeah, I'm pretty sure the school is definitely supposed to be in France. So I assume it's that flashback that we saw of the crucifix burning.
Of course it's France, because the Frenchman's called Maurice. Because what else, when you're an American writer, what do you call a Frenchman?
There. He's newly arrived.
Maurice.
He's newly arrived, though.
Maurice. Why don't you just give him a baguette and a beret while they're at it, and some garlic around his neck, and a nautical themed shirt.
You've completely cut me off. What was I saying? So I wasn't sure, because so that's France, but then that made me think that, is that not the building that we got in a flashback where the priest gets crucified, burnt? But then when we're back in the other place where the nuns live and we're with Sister Irene, she gets all the evidence of like, oh, you know, that demon. We think that demon's back.
Valak.
And the most recent death was a priest being crucified. So actually that wasn't even a flashback.
I'm kind of lost a little bit.
Exactly. It didn't really matter, but this film was so scatty.
Can we get back to Maurice?
Yes.
Yeah, so now we've established that we're actually in a school with young... Are they nuns to be then, all these little
No,
girls?
it's not a religious building anymore. It's an old... It was a... where... It was a monastery, that was it. It was a monastery, but it's no longer a monastery.
I've written that down, didn't I say that?
Yeah, maybe, but it's not anymore. Now it's a boarding school.
No, that's where Maurice works, more importantly, right? And Maurice is loved. He's absolutely loved by the young pupils for... a lot of them love Maurice.
Do they? I thought there was just the one.
There's a gang of like 3 or 4
sure it's
girls
just the one girl
who don't love Maurice. They cuss out Maurice because they're
You're
bad.
just a servant.
Yeah. But little Sophie, she loves Maurice. One of the teachers loves Maurice.
Her mum.
He shines on. Is that her mum?
That's her mum.
God, there's so much information I've missed.
So Sophie and her mum both love Maurice.
I just
Sophie's
thought
very
it was
open about
the
it.
teacher's favourite pupils. I've literally
No.
written, teacher and Sophie have a very close relationship.
It's mum and daughter.
Definitely playing favouritism. Now all makes sense.
Also, Sophie is bullied, and I was like, doing all this stuff, like, to single her out in front of the bullies is not going to help her case.
Yeah.
So the adults are not helping.
Because Sophie loves Maurice, and we've had nuns in the window looking down at Maurice in the garden and things like this, when they introduce him. This is already having
Except they're not nuns.
the voyage... they're not nuns now, they're teachers. This is already having the voyage of the Demeter effect on me.
But he did work at a nunnery because I think we saw The Nun, didn't we? But I don't really remember much of it. But it has got Sister Irene in it.
I think it's going to be cleared up.
And they're suggesting now... I don't remember Maurice being in it, but apparently Maurice is the one who saves Sister Irene from ultimate death. So...
Yeah, you're really scatty with where you're going with all of this.
Because that's how this film made me feel.
So that's why it's more confusing to me now.
Also, is scatty the right word? Because I use that word, but I think it's scattered. Scatty
Demeter.
just makes it seem
It's having the
poopy.
Demeter. This looks like a Disney movie. It looks like Disney trying to do horror. And, that's not a good look for you. So, Maurice, where's my baguette, essentially? There's a boy now who looks like a chimney sweep. And he hears some choky sounds in this building. And he sees a possessed man. And then the nun appears and breaks the boy's neck.
It's
Recall that.
Maurice that's possessed.
I'm aware of that.
Oh.
But Maurice isn't the guy that... The nun kills this little boy.
Yeah.
So, you don't elaborate on that. No, 'cause I thought that was like the one good bit, because you love it when a child gets killed off in a horror movie. And here we are with one having its neck snapped by the nun.
I can't say it really stuck out to me.
Right, well,
No.
I guess I've got nothing good else to say about it then. Because now the nun now appears outside Sister Irene's bed, and she's like, "Sister, you have a visitor." But we don't know if it's like Valak the nun or if it's a real nun. It turns out that it is a dream, and there's a bad dream she's having of Maurice with sharp teeth. Maurice has really sharp teeth. He turns around. Yeah, and then she wakes up from this, and then the sister is there. She's like, "Sister, you have a visitor again." So now she actually is awake. And she's told about a pattern of dead in the churches, right? And all signs point to Romania, where she's previously been to battle Valak. And all of these kind of like older priest dudes are trying to get her to go again. And she says, no. Irene's like, there's no way I'm doing this again. It's too dangerous. And then they essentially butter her up by saying, we need another miracle. So there's basically saying, you've performed a miracle.
In The Nun.
Now it's time for a second one. And then,
The Nun
then
too.
quickly she's like, yeah, okay, I'll do it then. So she gets on the train, and wouldn't you know it, Sister Deborah comes along. She is not supposed to be there, but Sister Deborah tells Irene,
She's a rebel.
you need me. And I can categorically say that is a false statement. She's not needed. She's actually completely useless.
No, it's emotional support.
And irritating.
Having someone there with you, emotional support.
But she doesn't need it. You need me.
But also, again, I feel like maybe if we remembered what happens in the first film, some of this would make more sense.
Yes, because the nun was also totally forgettable.
Yeah.
I don't remember a frame
Well, clearly,
from it.
I even had to ask you if we'd watched it or not. But anyway, like, so for example, you mentioned the nuns doing their spooky stories thing.
Nuns from the Crypt. That'd be a good show.
Right.
HBO brings you Nuns from the Crypt.
From the script.
Nuns
So
from the
it was
script.
actually one nun telling the story about, a priest and a nun who'd successfully performed this exorcism in Romania or something. And she's like, oh yeah, the priest got promoted and got all this stuff. And someone's like, oh, what happened to the nun? And she's like, oh, nobody knows. Blah, blah, blah. And it turns out, obviously, that's Sister Irene.
Yeah.
Right? So she is in the first one. I saw that.
Who is Sister Irene?
Yeah. But beyond that, exactly. I was like, is this a new story or actually building on the first one? But she seems to be like, blessed by God or something, because she does have almost vision type things when she's off on her search for this person, doesn't she? Mm-hmm. Crazy.
Maurice, by the way, he's back now, and he's fixing a cabinet for Sophie's mother, the teacher. But he's there to fix the cabinet, but he's working on the teacher.
Oh dear. Okay.
Maurice.
So anyway, we're back with Sister Irene and Sister Deborah, who are trying to track down this demon nun thing.
Hang on. I think you've gone too far ahead, because we've got Sophie, the little girl who loves Maurice. She's being bullied at school by 3 wrong-uns.
Yeah.
And we've already seen her be bullied, and they're also bullying Maurice. Right? When we see them for a second time, they kind of lead Sophie astray, and they take her into this place which is off limits in the school.
A seriously tumbled down church part.
And they make her look into a stained glass window which has a goat on it. And once you start staring at the window and the goat, you're not allowed to look away, because otherwise the devil will come. So the 3 bullies run away and they lock her in there, and she's kind of scared to look away. But who comes in a nun-shaped shadow? The nun.
Wow, really? The nun's got a nun-shaped shadow?
She's
That's
back.
absolutely
She's
mental.
back as a nun-shaped shadow.
That's crazy.
No face.
Yeah, even this bit, normally the whole... Because, you know, how many hundreds of scenes have you seen where someone's locked in like a dark cupboard or room or something and something evil's coming? This didn't have any effect whatsoever. I was not creeped out. And, you know, Maurice comes and saves the day. She slips out none the worse.
And then Maurice has a go at the 3 bullies and also defends Sophie in front of her mother, saying it wasn't her fault. Yeah, because he's a good guy, Maurice, even though he's possessed. So now we're back to Tarascon, France, with the 2 baby sisters, Deborah and Irene, because they look like 16-year-old nuns to me with those habits on. So they investigate the priest from the beginning of the film who was burnt to death, and they understand that the kid who was with him, I think his name was Jacques, you know, Maurice and Jacques, of course, those are French names. He's still around somewhere. He's still alive. He survived the whole thing. And Sister Irene, we then get like a flashback of Sister Irene saying goodbye to Maurice, right?
Yeah, because
and this also looked like to me like it was in France.
This is supposed to be when we're finding out that Maurice, who's now caretaker at the school, was actually caretaker at the nunnery when the old exorcism thing happened.
And the nunnery and the school look exactly the same.
And, you know, she's found out now, oh, he must be the carrier. And he's moved on because he's, you know, a man of the world.
So she had this vision, and now we get back to Sophie at school. She's coming down a stairwell, and it gets a bit dark in a corner, and there's another nun-shaped shadow which comes out at Sophie. It was the nun.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Some
wow.
kids come in from the stairs below, the light comes in, and of
Shocker.
course the nun shadow goes back into the wall, but still leaves somewhat of a nun-shaped shadow.
That was it, yeah, this derelict
on the
wall just kind of looks a bit like a nun's face.
It does, there's a lot of stuff in this that looks like a nun. Irene now, we're back to Irene in France, and she's Jacques, the boy from the burning priest at the beginning, on the street playing football, and she runs after him through the streets, loses him. Does he give her any information?
She does briefly talk to him, and then she gets attacked at a magazine stand.
Yeah, well, here we are now. So after Jacques runs away,
yeah,
right, to get, I don't know, some garlic or something like that, we have a magazine stand.
I apologise.
And all, you hate the French. And all the magazines are flipping pages in the breeze. And you know what's coming. You know, straight as soon as the magazines start flipping, I'm like, right, it's going to make a nun-shaped mosaic from all the pages, and it's going to jump out at Irene, and that's what happens.
I've never seen magazines quite like this, because the images are all just, you know, every other page is some close-up portrait with someone with a weird expression on.
Maybe it was supposed to be irony.
I don't know. But yeah, the nun appears in these magazines, and next thing you know, Irene's passed out on the streets.
You can set your watch to what was going to happen with the flipping pages, and the flipping pages goes on for about 90 seconds. A lot of people have waxed lyrical about saying, oh my god, the flipping magazine pages blew my mind.
Wow, I'm surprised by that.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen this before.
Most likely, maybe it was, you know, postcards flipping or something, I don't know. Now there's an older school mistress who sees Maurice banging his head against a bolted door, the place where they put Sophie
back in the
into.
School.
Yeah, and there's now an altar boy who becomes possessed by the nun and smashes the old school mistress's head with a lamp, and then a weight falls on her head.
Okay, right. So the school mistress, she's the reason that like church area thing is shut down, because her son, who was an altar boy, passed away in that church. So she's like locked it off forever. So she goes in there, and she thinks that she sees her son. That's the said altar boy, who's clearly a fake image conjured by the nun.
Valak.
And yeah, he attacks his own mother, and she dies. Well, that's pretty horrendous, isn't it? You think you found your deceased son reunited, and then he comes at you with a kettle.
Horrendous but ineffective in this film. Irene and Debs, they now go to the archives are we in Italy now, possibly? Are we in the archives in Rome, possibly now? Right?
I don't think so.
And there's this kind of, like, once they go to the archives, again, they're the elder priests there, and there's this drivel kind of dialogue along the lines of, sending this thing back to hell. I've been talking to the Vatican. This demon may have been an angel protected by God. We must be prepared to stop it at all costs. Standard, stock, exorcism dialogue.
Mm-hmm. Is this
Great
also when we
stuff.
find out what because they're like trying to figure out what this demon thing is after as well.
Yeah,
So it turns out it has to have a purpose. It's not just an evil demon.
what I've got after that all costs speak is Irene has a flashback of her mum, and it's lame. And then we go to Sophie, Maurice, and the teacher dancing. So the bit that you're talking about, I've skipped over.
Okay. So the reason that the nun is making her way across Europe and has now
Sounds
settled
nice.
has now settled from France to this school, which I'm not actually sure where it's supposed to be.
France,
I don't know.
Italy, because of the so-called Italian woman at the beginning, right?
Oh no, that's the nunnery.
This
See,
is
it's
a
confusing.
worldwide movie.
But anyway,
Never know where you are.
We found out that the demon has moved here. One, because that's where Maurice is, but Maurice is controlled by the demon, and the reason the demon is there is because the eyes of Saint Agatha
Saint
or
Lucy.
something? Saint
Lucy, the patron saint of the blind.
The eyes of Saint Lucy are buried on the premises.
Yeah.
And it's what
Obviously.
the nun wants because, as mentioned, the nun was once an angel with all this power, and then it was naughty, and God was like, well, let me take your power away and leave you on earth to wreak havoc.
What about now Sophie, Maurice, and the teacher dancing?
Yeah.
Maurice is having slow waltzes
Not weird
with mother
at
and
all.
daughter. And I think the daughter's kind of dreaming of a new father figure in her life.
Absolutely. She's
That's what
doing
I'm
everything
getting
she
from
can.
it.
Yeah, very much. I didn't see the two of them as a couple, though.
No?
No.
Is
I
Maurice
didn't.
too much hot stuff, or is she too much hot stuff? Or is it just a personality clash? Let me know.
No. I don't know. I just didn't see it.
You didn't believe it? Mm-mm. Yeah, I've now written, sisters are gunning it to boarding school. Maurice collapses. Irene then informs Maurice that it's him. He's possessed. Then he turns possessed. So now we all know it.
So
They know it.
after the
And they go looking for the relic.
After magazine moment,
Oh, that's chilling.
Deborah finds her, brings her back too after a while, and the little boy has left them a message as well. I don't remember what the message is though, so clearly unimportant.
Sorry I missed you. I'll call you back.
But after all of this, as you say, our sisters have now made it to the school, so all our characters are in the same spot. And we know that Maurice is the evil one, even though when Irene reveals this to him, Maurice is trying to usher out the child and the woman he loves.
Yeah, once it's revealed that Maurice is possessed now in the movie, his eyes go a different colour and stuff. We're back into the room, which has been boarded up, where the older nun's son died. And it's the goat game again. It's the devil goat game.
Oh,
and
dear.
they're looking into the window, and the goat from the window goes missing. And then I think we see the three bullies investigating a noise.
Dear.
And the CGI goat cometh.
So, yeah, what they're suggesting here is that we now have in this film not only the fallen angel, which is the nun, we also have the devil himself. Herr Satan has decided to join us in this film in the form
Satan!
of a, like, Wolverine goat type thing.
I just thought it was a goat.
Yeah, but the way it moved was not very goat-like, was it? It had, like, goat head and horns, but it was moving like some kind of Wolverine.
Did you like the symbolism? A goat is missing from the window. Now, of course, the goat...
It was so awful. Why the
about town.
hell did they put
Goats at large.
goat Satan in this?
Well, that's what Satan is. He's got goat legs.
I guess it's whilst,
And torso.
the main characters are fighting the nun,
Yeah.
the girls can be running away from something.
Once the CGI goat comes and Maurice is possessed. There are kind of like some powers are shown now. I'm not sure from whoever, goat powers, Maurice powers, or Phallic's back. And it's so powerful that actors are on wires and being pulled across the floor in the wind and up against the wall. It's wire time, because this is a Hollywood $40 million movie in the Conjuring universe. Of course, we've got to pull people across the floor in windy conditions.
Do you not also think another thing that makes no sense? Because Irene actually is the first one to find the relic. She finds the eyes. But then she's attacked by Maurice, possessed by the nun.
Maurice smashes a nun's head in as well.
But what I don't get is, like, we've seen the nun without Maurice. We've seen the nun, causing things to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And yet she seems to keep being reliant on Maurice to, like, snatch the relics back and stuff. It just doesn't really make any sense.
Why can't that just go and do it herself? Maybe it's because she's taking a long time to travel across Europe that she just...
she was a bit tired.
I'll possess Maurice. He's got nothing better to do. He
and
can
also,
get the eyes.
Eventually Maurice does get the eyes out of Irene's grasp. So the little girl then picks up the eyes and runs up the tower. Sophie. But now, again, we've got Maurice chasing Sophie, and having a person chasing after her was so much less scary for me than if you'd done the idea that the spirit of the nun is still after her.
Well, also chasing 10, 11-year-old Sophie, nothing's going to happen to her, so it's irrelevant. It's moot, isn't it? The giant nun comes out. The goat is also back, I should mention. Don't know what happens to the goat, but he's back also. And of course, Sister Irene and Sister Deborah are now going to team up and take down the nun, even though Deborah's not really a believer. She's not really...
Well, do you not think that saving all the girls from the devil himself would have made Deborah a bit more of a believer?
Well, she references the nuns from the crypt as well, story, doesn't she? Saying that the story that was told there, or Irene informs Deborah that you have to have faith rather than, have physical evidence. And that also made her think. And now she says she's seen a miracle because of this. Yeah. So yeah, Deb and Irene fighting the nun.
Yeah, I don't even remember, because the nun... hang on. Oh, I do remember what happens. So the nun actually does get hold of the relic. That's when the nun becomes super nun. Mm-hmm. Gigantanun. And... Gigantanun. And they're sort of, running away from it. I don't know, doing what they do. And they get to, in this old ex-monastery... we have the wine cellar. So I've got all these barrels of wine.
Thank God.
Everything's about to go wrong, and we're like, well, hang on. We thought that, of course, Irene will get the eyes. She'll vanquish the demon and all be well. But now the demon's got the eyes and got the powers of an angel. What would they possibly do? And she decides to bless all of the barrels of wine to symbolically turn them into the blood of Christ. They then smash the bottles open and douse that nun
with CGI spray wine, red wine.
What a way to go.
For blood. There's also a bit before they douse her in the killer wine, Irene's fighting the nun, and the nun manages to set Irene on fire, but nothing happens to her, because apparently something about her mum also can't catch on fire for some reason, if I remember correctly. So this family are fireproof.
Of course. It turns out Sister Irene, through her mum, through God knows who else, they are the descendants of the Saint Lucy. So she essentially is a saint. Saint Irene.
Doesn't that come in handy?
It does come in very handy.
Because if you're going to go around fighting evil, possessed nuns, you're going to want to have that kind of background.
Absolutely. So, happy ending. Nun is vanquished.
When Irene is on fire... she's fine. Deb then calls that a miracle, and they pray together.
I mean, that is kind of a miracle.
Pray with me. Yeah, Maurice is also back now. He's back. Sophie is obviously happy that Maurice is back, because maybe she can get a dad. The teacher's obviously happy, and it's kind of a happy ending.
It's a happy ending. Yeah, it's Hollywood. Hollywood movie.
Hollywood slop.
This is proper Hollywood movie.
Absolutely terrible. Not a real horror. Like I said, it's the Voyage of the Demeter type of effect. I feel like I was watching some of like hey-ho Disney film for a lot of it. Hollywood just can't really do horror. And what about the Ed and Lorraine Warren Easter egg during the credits? They'll be right there.
I did not enjoy that.
Didn't enjoy that one, no. I thought that was a great Easter egg. No, very, very intriguing. Yeah. The nun, by the way. The nun is you could say it's a creepy character.
Mm-hmm.
It deserves a hell of a lot better than these two piece of crap movies. When she first appeared, it was in The Conjuring 2, and that was quite effective. So clearly, because it was effective, we need to get this character on its own, give its own movie. But they haven't given anything. Like, we deserve better as well. It's completely instantly forgettable.
Well, I also found that my overall impression of the nun was just that, in this film at least, she seems completely powerless. Like, she doesn't really, apart from the very beginning when she burns that man, the rest of the time she seems pretty inept.
Yeah, like I say,
Which is not scary.
She can open her mouth and she can come out of shadows. So not bad. The nun is played by an actress called Bonnie Aarons. And she plays the bum in Mulholland Drive, which is maybe one of the scariest scenes of all time, where there's David Lynch shot in the daytime at the diner, and there's this guy telling a story about his dream. And he goes out and looks around the corner, then this bum comes out and scares the crap out of everybody. That was her. That was more effective in 30 seconds than the entire almost 2 hours of this movie. This was just a load of junk. Absolutely. I knew it was what it was going to be like as well, and it still decided to slither under my expectations. Once again, no one can write for this nun. What's the point of having this universe if none of these spin-offs are any good? Crap.
Moving on.
Number one, double number one, so you know it's good. The Exorcism from 2024, starring the one and only Russel Crowe once again. Although technically, I was about to say he's a priest, but he's actually an actor playing a priest, which is that art imitating life?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed this film.
Enjoyed?
I did. I don't think I want to watch it again because it wasn't interesting enough, but there were enough aspects of watching it for the first time that made me really enjoy watching this. And part of that was actually Russel Crowe.
This is Russel Crowe's second shot at priesthood. What did you make of it compared to the first one? Some people confuse this for a sequel to The Pope's Exorcist, which it is not.
Do they?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know what people are like.
No,
oh, look, Russel Crowe's a priest again.
Clearly not related. I did miss seeing Russel Crowe driving around on a little moped.
You don't get that in this. You do get that in The Pope's Exorcist. So, yeah, like you're about to say, because I've mentioned this many a time before, Russel Crowe just dwarfing a Vespa. And when I was researching this film, I thought, I'm going to have a little gander at Pope's Exorcist again. And it turns out that was Russel Crowe's idea, because he had seen priests riding around on Vespas, but I bet none of them were as big as him.
Vespas.
Yeah.
And I just thought that, obviously we've seen Russel Crowe through the years doing a range of things, but I've never seen Russel Crowe look and act like
LA
this.
Confidential.
He, the extra weight, I think really did him a favour in this role.
So you're saying like he packs on the muscle to play roles, he's packed on just different kind of size for this role?
I don't think he did it for the role.
So you just think he's loving life outside of acting with his many millions earned.
He was,
with the finest food known to man.
Yeah, I mean, he already didn't have his gladiator body when he did The Pope's Exorcist,
maybe
did he?
He's trying to go the way of like Oliver Reed later on in his career. He's going to be an Oliver Reed type. He's a hard drinker, Russel Crowe. I don't know if he still drinks, but I hope so. Because that'd be very disappointing if he didn't.
We also didn't get his Italian accent in this, unfortunately.
No, that was unfortunate. When the movie opens, we see a guy walking around a set and he's reading from a script saying, I've lost my faith, I've lost my faith. And we see him be attacked. How does he end up dying? Do you remember?
I think he gets pushed off the set, like the third floor of the set house or something.
It turns out he was the actor that was going to be playing what is going to end up being Russel Crowe's role in this. So that's how he's got his Crowe. So Russel Crowe's an actor playing an actor whose career is on the skids, who's now got a chance to play a priest. Once again, this is art imitating life.
Maybe that's why I liked his performance so much. He didn't have to draw very deep, did he? He's like, right, this is basically me.
Every actor. So I'm not saying that The Pope's Exorcist was a terrible movie. I'm not saying this was this kind of was a terrible movie, but like you say, it's kind of enjoyable still.
I liked it.
And is Russell Crowe at the point now where he's like, Pacino, De Niro, Brando, they all start doing absolutely just terrible movies. And is this now Russell Crowe's standard of terrible movies? As in, it's not that bad actually. You haven't fallen anywhere near to the depths of what Pacino's been in before.
And if anything, I've found this one of his most intriguing performances.
So is this a better priest performance than the Pope's Exorcist?
I mean, this was so much more believable. I believed this was, a washed up actor who's been through stuff and
was it Anthony Miller, the actor's name?
Yeah, and it
Russell Crowe
wasn't
plays.
necessarily clear right from the start, but we get to find out that he was, at one point in his career, quite a successful guy, wasn't he? Yeah. And then he went off the rails, went to rehab and all that, and now after a certain
classic actor's story
period of time away, he's now trying to get back into the career.
And we find out that he's got the role because once we transition from the opening death of the original actor, we're in Russell Crowe's, Anthony Miller's apartment, and we just hear him in the distance going, "Serpent be gone! Serpent be gone!" He's reading his lines, just saying it over and over again. And we're introduced to his daughter, who comes into the house.
This is actually before we know he's got the role. He doesn't even know he's got the role yet.
So he's just auditioning at this point.
Practicing for his audition.
Yeah.
And his daughter, who's been at boarding school, has now been possibly expelled, at least put on...
Very naughty.
Yes.
And he has to tell her as well, "My name's not Tony to you, it's Dad." Very disrespectful.
So this girl, of course, it wasn't even the actress. It's just the character.
The character sucks.
Is annoying.
Yeah.
But I got that straight away. You can tell instantly from the way they've styled her and everything. All right, this character is going to be a bit of a annoying one, but you can get over that.
No, it's an annoying character. We also have this annoying character having boring chat with Russell Crowe over Chinese food while she offers to help him with his lines. And you said you enjoyed Russell Crowe in this, right? Mm-hmm. You can also tell... is it Russell Crowe or is it Anthony Miller who has grown a beard as an actor? Because, this is serious.
To me, it just looks like someone who's let himself go.
So I'm saying, like you said, Russell Crowe's good, right? He's bringing gravitas, right, to this movie. Imagine if anyone else apart from Russell Crowe. It's going to be absolutely terrible, right? So I'd like to ask, who would you like to see play a priest battling evil? Even if that priest is an actor playing a priest. I've got 3.
Go on then.
Right. Obviously, and I'm surprised this hasn't happened already. Maybe it has and it's gone under my, under the radar. Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage is a priest battling evil. Second, battling evil as a priest, I've gone Jean-Claude Van Damme. Wouldn't you just love to see JCVD as a priest? Like, serious role. And lastly, in following on from JCVD, just for a laugh, Steven Seagal. So he's a priest, but he's also got the kung fu, which is all, Steven Seagal's just a certain job, but he's got the kung fu.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can top any of those.
How about if all 3 of those actors come together as like a priest super team to take on the ultimate evil? I'd pay to see that. I'd pay a lot of money.
How about
to see that?
John Travolta.
Yeah. Yeah.
And 2 who I know you'd want, because we recently had a discussion about them, about Daniel Radcliffe and Eddie Redmayne.
Oh, God. That'd be disastrous.
Wouldn't you? Actually, I would pay to watch that, though, those 3 as a trio of priests.
A trio, Daniel Radcliffe, Eddie Redmayne, and what?
John Travolta.
John Travolta! Yeah. You can sell that in the room. They'll just hand you over bags and bags of cash.
You wouldn't watch a movie with Daniel Radcliffe or Eddie Redmayne, but if the 2 of them together plus John Travolta, now we're talking.
Now you've got my attention. Now I might open the purse strings to that. Who wouldn't want to see that? It's something for everybody.
Absolutely.
Possibly. We get onto set because Anthony Miller / Russell Crowe has gotten the role. Or I think he's got the role.
Well, the
on
audition
set,
was...
Adam Goldberg is the director.
So we actually meet him for the
Eddie
audition.
From Friends.
Yeah, Eddie from Friends. We meet him at the audition.
And other things.
And this is before we really know about Russell Crowe's actor background, the character Tony's background.
Big Tone.
But it's already kind of insinuated because the director is very up to date with all the
personal
travails.
life.
Yeah, exactly. So he's been reading, the gossip magazines, I suppose, and he's trying to get Tony to, dip into those emotions and his failures and stuff. And we see this kind of progress. So obviously Tony does get the job.
Do you reckon Anthony Miller knew what Adam Goldberg, the director, was doing? Was trying to mine misery from him? Or does he just think he's an arse?
I think it's quite obvious.
Because he falls for it straight away. He's like, I was drinking a lot, marriage broke up. And they also say like a little bit with the heroin as well, right? Or am I just making that up?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Maybe a little bit, just a little bit with the heroin.
I don't think there's ever just a little bit of the heroin.
So when he's mining for Anthony Miller's demons,
right,
on the set, we've also got Niles Crane as a priest.
This I wanted
Brother
to bring
Niles.
Up. Yeah,
Brother Niles is here.
I loved his performance in this. I think he nailed it.
David Hyde Pierce, obviously. Yeah.
And I've seen him, obviously, Frasier.
Wolf with Jack Nicholson.
And Down with Love.
I haven't seen that one.
No, but I have. And he's basically Niles in Down with Love.
He's Niles in Wolf as well.
And in Wolf. But I didn't think he was Niles in this.
Maybe
there
because
were moments...
during Down with Love and Wolf, he was contractually obliged to play Niles, probably 9 months of the year or something, so he just got to stay in character. Mm-hmm. Can't botch up.
Plus, it's what they want from him.
Residuals.
Whereas, again, actors usually, when they get to the place where they're old enough that their faces have changed, and they can have
Mr.
a go
Hyde Pierce
at
is somewhat
things.
of a thespian.
I loved him in this.
Yeah, I enjoyed him too, yeah.
And I
always enjoy him.
I think the best thing about his performance in this, apart from the fact that it wasn't the same as what I've seen him do before, was that it was so easy to flip the line between, wait, is he actually supposed to be a good guy, or is he a massive wrong'un, parading as a good guy? I could have easily believed either one, which I think is, how can you do that in one performance? Amazing.
So you're saying this should really said gravitas from Russell Crowe, right? Also got Adam Goldberg, who's always dependable, always delivers the goods. Now we've got David Hyde Pierce in possibly an Oscar-nominated role. Maybe supporting actor, David Hyde Pierce.
I don't think
Russell
the role
Crowe.
was enough of a vehicle for any actor to get an award for, but he made the character special. So this needling that we got from the director during the audition process, this continues throughout the filming process.
The director, by the way, he's now a douche at a party. There's like a pre-party before they start filming, and he's kind of like bigging up Russell Crowe at this point. He's like, we got the guy, but he's drunk, acting like a douchebag. And also at this same party, Russell Crowe's daughter, his annoying daughter, is smoking pot. She's already been kicked out of school. Now she's smoking a doobie. She's a wrong'un.
Right, that's it, because another cast member from the fake movie that they're going to be filming, the one who's playing the Reagan, she's
the Little Mermaid.
She's either the Little Mermaid or her sister. I don't remember. There's Halle and Chloe Bailey, and I don't remember who plays who, but she's in this as another actor
playing an actor.
Well, she's a singer originally, apparently. So, but anyway, she and the daughter have a bit of a love story in this, don't they?
Of course.
And it starts out with the daughter goes into her own bedroom and then apologises because Miss Bailey is on the phone having a bit of a heated discussion. I was like, oh yeah, apologise for going into your own bedroom. That makes sense. But yeah, she has one puff of the ganja.
Shocking. So now we're at shoot day one, and Russell Crowe's backstage having a chat with Brother Niles. And he has a nosebleed after this chat because Russell Crowe is asking Brother Niles, what does it make you want to be a priest? And Brother Niles says he looked at them as like superheroes when he was a youngster, which was a bit strange, I thought.
Yeah, who were your idols? And but also this is when we start to I think this is when we start to find out that Tony was also we can find out during the audition, that Tony was also part of like the religion thing I think he was an altar boy.
He was an altar boy, yes.
And he was
and we all know what happens
abused.
To altar boys.
So we already can see that he's got a bit of doesn't really know how to talk to the priest guy.
Brother Niles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, we're about 30 minutes in. I'm not sure what happens, but 30 minutes, Corin jump scare. Got by something. Now it's shoot day 2. And Anthony Miller, turns out he's not as good as an actor as Russell Crowe because he keeps buggering it up. He's buggering it up. And Adam Goldberg, director, tells him, I need the truth, right? The truth of the line. Just give me the truth of the line. It's not that hard, is it? God, the meaning of the line. Stop being scared. He belittles Russel Crowe again, even brings up his abuse, which was a step too far if you ask me. But then a light then almost falls on Adam Goldberg's head, and he had a really good reaction. I thought that was
so
pretty
they have sort of comedy moments, I think, poking fun, because as you said, life imitating art, imitating life thing. The script writers for this will have been on many a film set, and what do movie people love more than making fun of their own people? In this case, the director. How many great directors have we had in film and TV history? It's always such a parody.
6.
And again, with this one, giving directions like just, the true meaning of the line, as if that's supposed to clear something up.
If anything, you're just going to confuse an actor,
Like,
because,
wait, what?
especially a Hollywood actor, they're like, the truth of the line.
Yeah, I once had a director, when I was doing a scene, they came up to me and they're like, you know what this means?
You know.
You know. Action.
Oh. Maybe that'll work.
I thought I knew, but now I'm confused.
Maybe that kind of thing works on Mark Ruffalo, but not on Anthony Miller.
I do know the line.
Russel Crowe, he's now going over his lines in his trailer, and he's a bit worse for wear because it starts to get windy and he's got warp voice. That's a little split bit.
Clearly,
and he's learning his lines.
The film they're filming, it's all haunted.
Do you remember when the Little Mermaid takes Russel Crowe's daughter to a certain part of the set and says something like, "Oh, this is like an evil place" or some crap?
Cold room.
Yeah.
What about it?
Because obviously we get back to that at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So it was shown us to be some kind of creepy nefarious place.
I think it was
Why was that?
That was the room where they filmed the proper possessed scenes, so they keep it cold, so that they've got the smoky breath and stuff. That's what I assumed, but it was a bit random. But anyway, what I was trying to say is that this film is clearly haunted. That's why the initial actor who Tony replaces got thrown from the third story, and so as you mentioned, Tony is not as good an actor as Russell Crowe. Essentially, what's happening is he's getting worse and worse physically, mentally, looks, everything, because the evil influence is draining him or something, and he starts drinking at home and he starts going off the rails.
Once we get another scene of him learning his lines with his daughter at home, and as he stands up, he gets dizzy and he goes to bed. And now we see his daughter walking around in the dark in the apartment, and she keeps hearing things, and she finally gets to where the noise is coming from, and it's Russell Crowe pissing blood on the floor, looking possessed.
Yeah, I kept getting the feeling in various moments throughout this film that they were trying really hard to channel The Exorcist movie.
Well, let me stop you right there. This film is directed by Joshua John Miller, who is the son of Jason Miller, who played Father Karras in The Exorcist. And around the world and other places, this film is called The Georgetown Exorcism, or The Georgetown Exorcist. Obviously, Georgetown being the setting for The Exorcist. And this movie is apparently, the director, Joshua John Miller, is in his head directing actors pretending to be in The Exorcist. I wasn't getting that whatsoever.
Okay,
I think if that was, imagine that was the outline of the movie, Russell Crowe and everyone else would have gone, "Oh yeah, I need to be in that," and then it's ended up being this, which is not quite that.
It doesn't have anywhere near the same serious tone. Like you said, we've got the director character who is just comedic and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so we got the things that remind me of The Exorcist were obviously the pissing scene. But it's just not as effective as The Exorcist.
I've got to say, Russell Crowe's pissing scene didn't bring up The Exorcist pissing scene for me.
And then also, yeah, the way that they've got the Bailey actress being Reagan in this, I was like, oh, they're clearly trying to do a Reagan thing. And they also use the weird sexualness that they put into The Exorcist.
Sexuality.
Yeah, they've made this little girl possessed by the demon ultra sexualized in certain things, and I noticed they tried to put that into this, like, towards the end.
But it just seems like they're plagiarising The Exorcist rather than making it look like, oh, we're filming The Exorcist, because obviously why would that be the actress playing Reagan? It makes no sense.
No, like I said, I didn't get at all that this was supposed to be them filming The Exorcist. I'm just saying I noticed certain parallels where I was like, okay, whoever's written and directed this really likes The Exorcist, and it's like, oh, those things.
he's got to love it, hasn't he? Father Karras' son, he loves The Exorcist. So now we're on shoot day 11, and Adam Goldberg and some of his crew, like, they're watching the dailies, and everyone's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? Because once again, when I was shoot day 11, and he's still not got his act together, Anthony Miller.
Well, like I said, he's getting worse because of this.
So Brother Niles
evilness.
Ends up talking to his daughter. You know, he's kind of like, he's the only one that can calm her down, it seems, because she's off the rails and she's smoking pot and being suspended from school. And at this point now, like you mentioned, Russell Crowe's now downing whiskey bottles, leaning against his tub, and he's acting weird at home, covered in blood, freaking out his own daughter, where he says, "I'm not Tony," to her as he walks away. Yeah. Now shoot day 15, guess what? Still not got his act together. This is shoot day 15. You think after more than 2 weeks in the role, he would start to inhabit the character, but instead he's just embarrassing his daughter again in front of everybody. And the daughter is once again confiding in Brother Niles. The Little Mermaid is there too. And Brother Niles suggests that Anthony Miller may be dredging up something from his past, as we've already alluded to.
Right.
Right, as to why he's acting so weird rather than it being a possession, which hasn't really been mentioned yet. Mm-hmm. And also there's real that Brother Niles is actually a clinical psychologist. He doesn't actually believe everything or much. He actually doesn't believe 99% of the good book, does he?
Yeah, was that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I've got them, they play a recording of Anthony Miller praying to Moloch in Latin, which Brother Niles can understand.
Right, this is something that the daughter recorded before the pissing scene. But I found that really strange. I would have found it would make more sense if she'd taken her phone out to film it with the torch on. And you still could have got the audio. But I was like, for how many people, and you're like, hearing weird noises in a dark thing, do you not want light? She just starts voice recording. I was like, I mean, you do what you want, but I would want to see what's happening.
Of course, this is quite a long shoot now. It's now shoot day 17, the exorcism scene. And once again, Anthony Miller is ballsing the whole thing up. And he's so distressed at this that in front of everybody, the entire crew and his daughter and the Little Mermaid, he starts contorting and banging his head against the table and also arching his back completely backwards, breaking his back, I'd assume.
Well, this was actually after...
Possessed.
Yes. But when he's up there doing the scene and he can't get the words out and everyone's really frustrated, that's when the director comes up to him again.
Sam Worthington, who's also there as a priest.
The director comes up to him again and kind of privately dredges up the absolute worst of Tony's history, which, as we know, is pretty horrendous. And that seems to be what flips for the evil to come in fully, doesn't it? Because that's the moment he's like, no, screw this, goes down, and as you said, puts on quite the show for everyone watching.
Very try hard. Now that Russell Crowe has done this in front of everybody, of course, no one can work with him because he's broken his own back and smashed his head against the table. So now brother Sam Worthington, actor Sam Worthington, playing an actor in the movie as well as a priest, will now be the lead role in the film. Or not. Because once he's getting ready for his big close-up in his vanity mirror, Russell Crowe breaks through the mirror, grabs him, and ends him.
This fictional film,
shoots glass into his face.
Must have had a huge budget for them to recast 3 times.
This fictional film was The Exorcist.
Yeah, he comes through the mirror and glass smashes into him. But again, it's Russell Crowe who's physically doing these things because he's possessed.
Not Anthony Miller.
It's the one who's killed.
Right, yeah.
By Russel Crowe, who's possessed.
The daughter is now feeding Russell Crowe his meds. The movie ends up being shut down. Even now Sam Worthington's dead. You know, you've already lost Russell Crowe. You've lost the guy before Russell Crowe. Mm-hmm. Sam Worthy's gone. So the movie's shut down, and Little Mermaid is very upset. And Russell Crowe, by the way, has been spitting out his medication, which his daughter's been feeding him.
Yeah.
So the girls then get together because, of course, we need the conclusion to Russell Crowe's daughter and the Little Mermaid finally getting together. Mm-hmm. That was stupid.
Okay.
That was really stupid.
And this is the bit where we then
by
get
the way,
okay.
obviously, that is what they call a lesbian kiss. And guess what? Russell Crowe does not like this. Anthony Miller's not a fan of lesbian kisses. He's like, kiss her, you fucking homosexual slur.
I was going to say that this is the bit of the film that reminded me of The Exorcist in terms of the sexualization thing, because we've got, obviously, Russell Crowe...
There's no lesbian kiss in The Exorcist.
Would you let me finish and you'll know what I'm talking about? We've got Russell Crowe who's possessed, and we've just seen his daughter and Little Mermaid making out, and now they are confronted by him, and he says very sexualized things of like, you know, I
would do it better.
I could do it better and stuff like this. So again, that's why I was like, oh, so they're trying to do the crucifix scene, but with a different character. What can they do? And that is pretty grim as well. But it's just, the whole film didn't have anywhere near even an ounce of the same
Well, when I saw that
gravitas.
scene, I wasn't thinking of the crucifix scene in The Exorcist. I think you're reaching here.
No.
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 So now that he's already been possessed and broken his back and smashed his head against a table, therefore getting himself fired from the movie, as I said, he now throws himself out of the apartment window from God knows how high up. He lands on the floor, and Brother Niles tries to make some sensible. Yeah. So what's going on here? Is he superhuman?
Yeah, because he's possessed. Possessed people can do crazy stuff, can't they?
Yeah.
Like Reagan was all contorty
but then
and
that takes away from the Exorcist ending then, when Father Karras gets the demon Pazuzu to go into him from Reagan, and then he chucks himself out the window, therefore killing himself and the demon. So what's the rules here? It
wasn't very clear, because he falls out the window whilst the priest, Niles' priest, and daughter are there. And I was like, so has he just killed himself? But clearly he hadn't, but they didn't show it very, very well. It was just the next thing you see is the priest and the daughter are off trying to find him.
But the daughter does say after she's on the ground where her dead dad is now, supposedly, she goes, oh no, he's still here, I can feel him.
Yeah, it is.
So now
strange.
Brother Niles is now getting ready for a religious battle, so he gets out those purple cloths, which are famous from The Exorcist, and his daughter is walking around with like a lightsaber / halogen bulb, and she ends up at the weird set that she'd been shown by the Little Mermaid, which I brought up earlier.
The cold room.
The cold room, yeah, and Russell Crowe's there again, and Niles, and the mermaid is dead.
Oh yeah, this was another very strange thing. No, what? No, so at one point, the daughter is the last one to... So, first, the priest went into this other room to try and face off with him. We don't see what happens. Then, all of a sudden, the Little Mermaid has disappeared. She's no longer with the daughter. The daughter wanders around for a bit, and she ends up then going into the cold room. And as she enters and sees, you know, her possessed dad in front of her, either side of her are open-mouthed Niles and Mermaid, like...
That was it, yeah. So
it's frozen.
That's what I've written. So actually, I've written Niles and Mermaid dead, because at that point I thought they were just
but
dead.
But they're not,
no.
Which would have been so much better. They should have been dead.
Of course, then the daughter starts reading from the Bible, and it works, because...
Yeah, she does something to break some of his power, because then, as we said, they're not dead. Niles and Mermaid come back to animated life.
Doesn't break all his powers, because the possessed Russell Crowe starts moving furniture around with his mind powers, which is something that demons like to do.
And eventually, Priest Niles is so selfless that he walks up to the demon and is like, well, wouldn't you rather have me?
Like,
I won't even fight you.
I know you're in there. Spare me.
Knock, knock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
So he transfers the demon to Niles.
Mm-hmm. So I understand that obviously this couldn't have happened if Niles and Mermaid were dead. But I think that would have been so much more effective. Having them just frozen there and then coming back to animation just made it feel like such a kid's horror. You know, it didn't have the impact.
Did you prefer possessed Russell Crowe or possessed Brother Niles? Because they both have quite a long go at being possessed.
So Russell Crowe, because of you know, the way he looked and everything at filming this, he had a natural, real menacing presence, I found, which really worked for his role. And, you know, if that's coming at you in the dark, I'd be afraid. Whereas Niles, obviously, Niles has a much more slight frame and just a different look.
So
completely.
You could take him. You could take Devil Niles.
I wasn't finished, but his performance was creepy in a completely different way. His performance got creepy when he started channeling, you know, naughty priests who had their way with young Russel Crowe's character. So his was a very different kind of creepy. I thought they both did a fantastic job, though. They both made me feel, you know, uncomfortable in the way that you want to be, but in different ways.
Yeah. This movie's pretty poor, but they were good.
I thought they were great.
Now, Russel Crowe, now that Brother Niles has taken the demon out of Russel Crowe exorcises Brother Niles and then stabs a crucifix in his head.
Yeah, because it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much how it ends, right?
And sets it on fire. Crucifix to the head and set on fire, because you've got to do both.
Again, I agree, the film wasn't that great, and that's why I probably say I wouldn't watch it again. But I had a great time throughout the whole film, just watching Russell Crowe and Niles' performances.
Yeah, I'd say that's the only thing it's worth watching for is Russell Crowe and David Hyde Pierce. The rest of it is pretty derivative and not good enough to be based on what it's supposed to be based on, right? Mm-hmm. Would you like Russell Crowe to have a third shot at priesthood? We've had Pope's Exorcist, The Exorcism, third shot.
Yes, but,
you know,
but please God, don't make him Italian again.
He's up to the task, but
so bad.
But the material so far hasn't been, right? Because he could be the ultimate priest, couldn't he?
Yeah, but he should be one of those, like, you know, old ones who's kind of given up a bit. He's jaded, and then he has to reach in and find something.
Of course, at the end, you know, he tells his daughter that he loves her, and he's talking to someone saying that they've never gotten better than what they are getting on currently. And there's a confession ending, of course. There's a confession ending. I'm still not sure what it means. Forgiveness. But me and my daughter, we're doing the best we've done for a while. For now, it feels like grace. Yeah. It does.
Yeah.
Great writing. Great writing, great performance. Great. Also, like, The Exorcism. What kind of title is that for this film?
Not memorable. I'm glad you introduced the film, because I was like, it's there's something to do with exorcism, but there's so many films. The Exorcist of the
Exorcism of.
Yeah, that's
how
what I
about
meant.
Disco Exorcist? You know that one? Disco Exorcist? No, it's not as good as it sounds. Unbelievably.
Yeah, no. Go for a different name nowadays. There's too many.
But you're ready for
none of them are
ready
The
for that
Exorcist.
third shot of priesthood with Russell Crowe, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get him and the other trios.
What, Nick Cage, Jean-Claude Van Damme, and Steven Seagal, along with Russell Crowe.
And John Travolta.
And Daniel Radcliffe and
Eddie
Redmayne. So they're like a priest...
Brotherhood.
We've got like a priest universe going on here. What? So
they're living in a monastery.
Are they all brothers as well?
Maybe they have to fight against the nun. Or...
So seven actors versus Valak. Yeah. Okay, I'll sign up for that one.